Welcome back to Behind Enemy Lines with Terry and Mike. So we have a very interesting guest, the smartest guest we've ever had on this show. I'm kind of excited. It's my first time talking to a real NASA scientist. He's Dr. Weiping Yu. He's a distinguished physicist, the crew spacecraft structures subsystem manager at NASA Kennedy Space Center. Just so you know, Doc, it took me 12 years to get out of junior college, so this is going to take me a while. He holds a PhD in engineering physics and internationally recognized for developing the universal particle theory, Yuan theory, a revolutionary theory of everything that seeks to unify all fundamental forces, including gravity, electromagnetism, and quantum phenomena through single elementary particle Yuan. It's a bridge between Einstein's theory of relativity and quantum metrics. His work introduces transformative concepts regarding the nature of mass, charge, magnetism, and sheds light on the elusive phenomena such as dark matter, dark energy. His models challenge conventional interpretations of black holes, the Big Bang, and atomic structure, offering testable, intuitive alternatives, reimagining the universe's most basic building blocks. That's the most I read since college.
I don't want to surprise you if you have any questions. Basically, it's cover all the mysteries in physics.
Yeah.
Well, so to me, and I'm sorry, I'm not as read in as I am usually with some of the guests that we have on here or on other programs. But so it sounds like you're after the big prize, a unified theory of everything, something people have been working on for, well, time immemorium.
Hundreds of years.
Yeah, or more, to unify quantum physics and our normal understanding of physics, because things that work on a large scale, we don't really understand how they work on a small scale as you get micro. But some of your theory, from what I understand, does work out, or is, I guess, still in the process of being tested and proven. But you're the closest we've seen to a unified theory of everything.
Yes. The microscopic, small one, and the macroscopic is the bigger one. They should work on exactly the same laws.
Yes.
So that's where something wrong with current physics. Somehow we divided by gravity. That's relativity, right? Mm-hmm. Talking about the big stuff in the space, and with how they reconcile with the smallest particle, they divided. They said, "Hey, we have two different set of laws." Turns out, both theory are problems.
Yeah, well. So, hey, I just want to say one thing. My son is watching. My son, Anthony. Hey, Anthony Newsom. He just graduated high school.
Wow.
In the last year and a half, he only watched one other show. He's watching this show because he's graduating. He was thinking about going into physics. And we are right down the block. He was last year when he was a junior. I'm sure you know of Argonne Labs, right? Argonne Laboratories.
Yes.
We live like a half a mile from there.
Oh my goodness.
He went to summer school. He got in as with people from all over the place at Argonne Labs with other scientists. So he's watching you right now. It's the second show he's ever watched, his dad.
Okay. Yeah, make sure.
Maybe I could take him down to visit you sometime.
Oh, and anytime. I communicate with a lot of, especially high school students, even middle school and college students. I love these are open mind.
Thank you. Good. That's great.
Make sure.
I will.
Get questions from him.
Yeah.
And I wanted to answer right at the real time.
Okay. I will text him while we're talking. Thank you. Go ahead, Mike.
Well, I guess if you could kind of outline to our audience what it is that you're working on with your theory, and how this is why this is so revolutionary, why this changes a lot of our understanding.
That's a really broad question. Very few people can answer that way, right? And since I claim I'm unifying everything in the universe, right? I should give you a straight answer. Number one, my name Weiping Yu. Everybody in NASA, they call me Dr. Yu. Maybe last name Yu easier to call. And I'm the founder of the Yuan theory of everything. The so-called Yuan is a fundamental particle. That's the particle unify everything in the world. And I will tell you what that particle is. Everybody since 3 years old and above You know that. It's not created in the laboratory. It is known by everybody in the world. That's the real thing. The theory, the reason I developed the theory is I find after I got a PhD, I spent almost 20 years in school. Even work for NASA. I do not feel so I truly understand the physics. So then I started try to find out what is the fundamental problem with physics. Like you just mentioned about it. You said you in college you probably took some physics class. Have you?
I have. Yes, I took physics and astronomy through college for 3 years.
Oh my goodness! Many of my peers. I'm not talking about the physics peers. I'm talking about the NASA peers. They first year started with physics.
Yeah. How many years did you go to college, Doc? Total?
Oh my goodness. 4 years undergraduate, 2 years, master degrees, and then another 4 years PhDs.
Wow.
I have not counted what the elementary, middle school, and high school is. I also worked in the college, as an assistant professor for many years. So, I just say the reason this theory is I try to use this U1 theory of everything is a physical theory. Try to explain everything from the first principle based on one particle. One particle, this particle, anybody knows that's one. And one force, one field, one principle, and this is one single universe. We do not rely on high dimension like string theory, and we do not do like a many universe, those kind of weird theory, So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because string theory it takes into account like multiple dimensions, and then that's how they're able to balance the mathematics and get it to work out. But it doesn't seem to work in the real world. Once you start testing things, even though something may work out on paper, it's not the issue. The way I understand it, at least with string theory, is we're not able to replicate the results that you get on paper.
They cannot produce zero predictable results.
Wow.
So the problem is deep. Okay, I can explain. Yeah, if you are interested.
Please go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Doc.
The reason is string theory built on the failure of the quantum mechanics, because the quantum mechanics has so many contradictions and so many weird things.
Sorry to interrupt you. Could you explain for the audience what is quantum mechanics?
That's excellent questions. So let's first talk about when we're talking about the physics. We are talking about we are taught in high school and usually in first year of university. We are taught called classical physics. So that's all based on the Newtonian mechanics. And maybe when you second year, you do electrical engineering, you do classical electrodynamics. So that's all we all lumped together called classic. However, the classical mechanics has problems to explain the structure of atoms.
Yes.
You're talking about now. We're talking about Newton. Talking about what is gravitational theory. Theory of gravity is talking about big things, and also we have a motion based on law of Newton. We're talking about mechanical motion. It's all about macroscopic motion, bigger motion. However, whenever we're dealing with atomic level, now we have problems. The problem started with since we start a discovery called electron by J.J. Thomson in 1897. So that's a century. Yes. That's the 19th century now. So we are 21st century, and since then, because we try to explain how structure of atoms works. Because we said, hey, we have an electron, a negative charge, and we have a called a positron, make a nucleus. How to make this model work? That's where we invented called quantum mechanics.
Yes.
initially, I hope I hope your sons understand. Okay, high school students. Initially, we try to explain the structure of atom based on the solar system model.
Yes,
So
yeah.
that sounds like a very intuitive, right? But that's called classical theory. No problem at all.
Mhm.
The only problem is in classical theory, solar system. All the planets orbiting the sun, right? The trajectory can change if we have external influence, right?
Yes.
Something can drift away, something can come too close. And when it works classical, there's one problem. The solar system is not going to exist forever. It could be one day impact with a neighboring star system, or something, some catastrophic, something happens, right? Gravity reduce, somehow things fly away, or gravity, solar explosion, gravity increase, expanded diameter. Maybe we're all sucked in there. So that means
How much time do we have left?
that was talking about in billions of years. Okay.
Huh.
Of course, I know this scared you. I don't want to scare your audience away, but that's what we know. We are assuming we are with the 4.5 billion years in the solar system, right? Exist. So we said that probably it's only less than half of the age. So you calculate how many years we can do. But the problem is with the atom. So solar system can easily, be a change, trajectory can change, but the atom has been existed forever, right?
Yes.
Very stable. So how could the atom works? If it exactly follows solar system works, it will goes away. Atoms will collapse. We'll have atoms, ever make it everything. So then that's where quantum mechanics say it. One smart guy called Niels Bohr said, okay, you said that the solar system model doesn't work because solar system is whenever you're in motion, you have a drag, you have friction, and you have interaction with, you're going to slow down. When you slow down, that's the problem, right? When you slow down, it will be sucked by sun. You're going to burn in hell. I didn't know, that's very interesting. In the Eastern philosophy, we're talking about hell is the coldest weather, okay?
Yeah.
So when I came here, so hell is the hottest one. So there could be. Now I figure out it's in the sun. So if we be sucked in the sun, if we were slowed down, and we were impacted with the sun, so then we were not survive.
Yeah.
So that's the problem. So then say, hey, if solar system doesn't work, so what happens? Carl Niels will try to fix his advisor. His advisor, called Rutherford. Rutherford won Nobel Prize by in chemistry, right? Rutherford made this. Hey, this atom works just like solar system. Okay, but the problem is, if like solar system, everything can move freely, right? Your atom will be never stable. So what Niels Bohr, his student, try to get PhD from him, right? You have to improve your advisor's model. He said, okay, I'm going to assume he think he derived. He actually just made a claim or decree. Okay, say, hey, in my model, all the trajectories, all the orbiters is fixed. Anything orbital, you are not allowed to go anywhere. You're always fixed inside.
Yes.
The only time, so that's when quantum comes. Every time, if you fix not just one orbital, you have a series orbital that's based on the hydrogen. When they look at the hydrogen spectrum,
yes,
hydrogen and the different oscillation, right? You develop the spectrum line. It has a certain distance.
yes.
He said, hey, I can match that distance. The only thing he can match that difference by defining orbital one by one, exactly keep the distance, match the spectrum. It's artificial match, right? The only problem is you match that one if they're changing, if the orbiter does not, if the electron does not on that orbiting, so then your model will not work. So he said, he argued that he just somehow persists, just say, hey, under my theory, it's not going to be moving anywhere outside of the orbital. The only way it's jumping from one orbital to another orbital we call the principal orbits, right? Is that you have to disappear. You cannot continuously go from the through space and time. Say from this is like solar system, like Mercury moving outward to Earth's orbit. You're not allowed. Is that you have to fix on this orbit. The only thing you jump there once you absorb energy, you have energy. Yes. And how do you jump? If you jump through the space and time, you become solar system. Then your model will not work. So he's like, under my assumption, it has to work. Jump means you disappeared instantly, and without have time and reappear on different orbit.
Yes.
So simultaneous speed. So that means the reason I hope you know the reason why he fixed the orbit, because he experimentally fit data. That's a spectra is a discrete spectra, right? So that's what he said. Oh, you have to exactly here. Okay, so that's started with called a quantum jump. Means it's not continuous. It's a discrete and instantaneous without going through space, without going through time. Instantaneous happen.
Yeah. So I got a question for you. Are you finished with your statement?
I hope I can make you understand it. Yeah.
I have a question for you. With this rapid evolution of AI, right, and all these things that it's doing, is that helping? Science. Were you out partying last night? That helps. Does that help?
Sorry.
That helps. Does AI are you able to, as a scientist in your own community, are you using AI to advance some of these theories and these things you're doing? Is that at that point yet? And is that going to accelerate some of the things that you guys are doing as scientists leveraging AI?
Yes, I give you my understanding, my experience with AI. Number one, NASA does not even allow us to use AI. They block all the AI website.
That's
really.
One thing about maybe I should talk about what's the problem with AI. AI does not create anything new. Anything if new created by AI must be wrong. Let me tell you. Because all the data we have, especially in physics, all the fundamental theories are problematic. So when the AI just summarize both logic, both existed writing, existed logic. He just say, I know, say 100 millions of different reasoning. I just pick up deliver the most coherent one, right? So they do not create anything new. I just want to know, because I'm writing book right now.
Yeah, I know.
Every time I write something, if I search AI, they give me exactly the wrong answer, opposite to my answer.
Yeah, because at this point, like AI doesn't really, it's not good at, let me phrase this correctly. It's good at like interpreting information and then spitting out something back to you that's simplified, but it doesn't think. It's not like a person. It doesn't analyze the information. I mean, there's some simple algorithms they've run to analyze things like traffic statistics, stuff like that, but it's not to the point yet where it's going to be developing new theories and solving, mathematical equations, answering the questions of the universe. It's not to that point. It's basically a really smart search engine that can analyze a huge amount of data and then give that back to you in a simplified form.
Well said.
Yeah,
thank you.
Very good. Very good.
That's what they keep me around for.
So,
you will have a job.
Yes.
We talked a little bit before the show that you were on with a lot of people watching know who Patrick Bet David is, right? I love that guy, and I want to get on. I want to get on his show. You got to help me get on his show. But you were on. You were up there with Terrence Howard, right?
Yes.
So I was kind of shocked because I was looking you up, and then I'm like sitting there. What is this smart NASA scientist doing? Howard, right? And Howard, I didn't. So he's no longer doing movies. He's got a pretty brilliant mind, I guess, right? And
yes.
Why don't you talk a little bit about that segment and what is Terrence Howard doing with you?
Terrence Howard is a superstar, okay, movie star. Everybody knows this. Whenever he was on the show, he been on Joe Rogan's show many times. But at least for the 2 times I watched him, he especially the second one. The first one, he was a one-on-one with Joe Rogan. Very nice. Everything sounds like very exciting, except many things people does not feel like understand. So then they invited called Eric Weinstein, so our friend.
Yeah, Eric Weinstein's great. Huh. Uh-oh. He's getting a...
Sorry about it. Okay.
No problem.
So I guess I got another question with SpaceX.
Okay.
With SpaceX, and we got NASA, and utilizing these new private ways to get into space with Elon Musk and stuff. Do you guys collaborate with those scientists? From NASA, and do you guys have a professional, a very well established relationship? How is the relationship between government, NASA scientists and the Tesla scientists?
NASA, SpaceX, and Blue Origin.
Yeah.
Yes. We SpaceX and Boeing are our two biggest commercial partners for transport astronaut from the Earth to International Space Station, right? Mm-hmm. So we do interact with weekly. We have weekly meetings. Whenever Tesla has been very busy, right? So they launch like twice a week or something. So many of their system they collaborate with NASA. So we were basically oversee some of their work, especially we are contract with him, so we responsible to oversee him. So we have a weekly meeting all the time, but it's all concentrated with say SpaceX, Dragon, crew capsules. Yes. Any problem, any leaks, any problems, and our safe nature. So that's why we interact with them in an official setting. And over internet, so we use called the Microsoft Team meeting.
Yeah, I know what that is. So you're down in Florida, right?
Oh, I am physically in Kennedy, Florida. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's
okay.
Nice. Yeah.
I used to live not too far from there. I used to live over south of Orlando. We did a lot of business with a number of NASA's contractors, with HRE that used to do all the panels for the space shuttles, the ceramic tiles, and I contracted with Gemini. There's a private company that, they're all on the tip of my tongue. But yeah, I was in the staffing industry for a long time, and a lot of these companies need highly specialized individuals, both in engineering and sometimes it's different skilled tradesmen, especially for some of the welding and the creation of these ceramic tiles. You really had to have the best of the best around the world to do it. And even just maintaining the runway out there, the launch pads, I don't think most people understand. These things were like 20 feet thick of steel reinforced concrete just to handle all the energy from a shuttle or a rocket launch. And it has to be redone every 5 years, or I can't remember if it was 5 years or 10 years, but very frequently. But yeah, I used to be down your neck of the woods, not too far from Cape Canaveral.
Wow. You are very experienced. Okay.
I don't know about all that. I was just in the area and fortunate enough to connect with some of the right people. So I was actually able to go watch the last shuttle launch and see a few other things in person. But that was years ago.
No, everyone's watching you on the show. They're like, "Hey, you're on Behind Enemy Lines, Doc."
I know. So you are so famous. So yeah, everybody is calling on the wrong time. So yes.
I got a question for you.
Okay.
Two questions. One, explain what peer test. I know what it means, but for what does peer tested mean? And two, I saw that guy when I was researching you saying, "Oh, Doc hasn't been peer tested." Explain what is peer tested. And why would someone like that say you weren't peer tested is kind of challenging your theories?
Oh my goodness, you watch too many things. Yes, actually, that's one of the professor, famous professor, okay, smart one, called Brian Keating. He's the only one dare to answer. I proud his courage. And the only problem is he never, I do not believe he really thinks in what we're talking about. So he tried to criticize me based on the peer review, right? That's where He's only been say never peer reviewed. That's the part.
Yeah.
For most of the people, scientists or engineers, whenever you publish something, you have to go through so-called peer review. Is a board member's decision, right?
Isn't it? There's sometimes political involvement in peer reviewing, even though it's scientific.
Human are not perfect, right? It's always politically, or maybe say sometimes you might be impact his livelihood. For me, if I'm seeking for their approval for publishing my research, you know what? They're going to be out of the job in 5 years. Because they're a student.
Yep.
Understand what I'm talking about. See, hey, you guys lied to me for the past 100 years.
Yes. Yeah. Well, are you getting a lot of pushback with your theories because they're shaking things up? Because, I mean, to me, it's become self-evident that there is an effort to suppress certain things within the scientific community. And also, as Terry kind of alluded to, there is a push for political outcomes, probably not so much in the kind of research that you're doing, but especially as it comes to environmental research and even medical research. Now, I have a good friend that was an editor for a peer-reviewed journal, and she encountered this numerous times where they were pressured not to publish something after reviewing it, making sure the resources were good, the accreditation was good, and but they were under pressure from donors and other people not to publish this research because it disproved something that for one reason or another, they wanted to keep a lie, keep the illusion that a lie was the truth.
That's what I believe. That's also what Terrence Howard believes. I believe so. That's why, of course, if you are aligned with them, say, hey, you provide evidence to support them, you very likely not only get published and get notarized, and also you could win Nobel Prize.
Yeah,
for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, it's unfortunately become very politicized. I have another friend that was a research psychologist, and he actually left the field because of it. He got into doing regular treatment psychology, working with patients. But what he really wanted to do was research. But same thing, if they came up with the wrong theory, their papers they couldn't get anything published anywhere, despite having the research, having clean experiments, good documentation. They couldn't get anybody to touch anything that they worked on.
I just want to give them some credits. Most of this is called revolutionary theory. We have at least dozens or even hundreds. Okay, most of the theory does not lack of internal consistency. You have the self-coherent, right? Not self-contradicting, and also lack of evidence, and also have a minor, you have to mind your P's and Q's either to be picked on. Right. So we sometimes we do have some kind of minimum requirement for certain journals. However, if you truly revolutionary, like the one I'm proposing, you just mentioned how much pushback. Let me tell you, besides this Brian Keating, the Ivy League school PhD, graduate PhD, and I hired as a professor at the UCSD, Mm-hmm. Besides him, I could not hear a sound. Actually, the Patrick Bet David show, right?
Yeah.
They contact Michio Kaku and also other famous physicists try to come on the show, debate with me.
Yeah.
What happens? I wait 2 months now. No one come on. So now the Brian Keating, I'm so happy he openly made a video trying to dispute with me, not from a theoretical standing. It's based on called peer review. He said peer review and publication on this subject. How could I get this publication on this subject? If they understand this one, that will be overthrow whatever we learned. Physics, not just quantum mechanics and relativity.
Yep.
So that's something happened in the 20th century, right? Beginning of the early 20th century. Started from the fundamental called the discovery of electron. So that's from the classical electrodynamics.
Yes.
Oh,
So,
I just noticed you were at University of Wisconsin-Madison when my wife was there.
oh my goodness, your wife graduated from there?
Yeah, she got a master's and a bachelor of computer science and finance. I went to University of Chicago.
Oh wow, that's
I got a certificate.
what a privilege. I could not afford to go to the University of Chicago.
But I tell everyone, hey, I went to University of Chicago. I got a certificate. I'm being sarcastic. I got a degree at Elmhurst College, and I did go to junior college for a long time. I was a bad student, but I'm very proud to have my wife that went to University of Wisconsin, got her master's. She's she's the smart one in the house. It's school. It's expensive. Now it is. It wasn't as bad back when you guys went there, but it's bad. It's expensive now.
Right. I was under my professor. He was once nuclear engineering physics, the dean of that department.
Did you go to Yerkes Observatory? Yerkes Observatory.
Actually, I did not.
It was the biggest, like I forgot the
telescope.
Yeah, remember it's like I went there for when I was at Elmhurst College. We had a trip up there. Oh man, I thought you were there for sure.
Yeah.
So I got another question for you. Mars, right? I'm sure a lot of people want to know about Mars.
Of course.
Do you think we will have somebody touching down on Mars? And who's going to be the first country to get to Mars?
Oh, definitely the U.S. I have no doubt it. You have to have a technology, right? And also have an enormous the wealthy country and the enormous power, determination. I don't think any country in the world can compete to land the first human being on the first called planet. Right now, we only landed on satellite, right? Moon is a satellite.
Yes.
The first planet, and it could be a last planet ever as human being can land on.
Wow.
So that's so important.
What year do you think that might happen?
Oh my goodness. NASA, when I, long time ago, like before pandemic, we were talking about the 2030s, by end of 2030s. Yeah. So now I think about it, maybe 40s, before 50.
Well, all right. I'm sure you're familiar with Dr. Robert Zubrin and his Mars Direct plan and how it's been modified over the years. And I know that's something that, I've heard analysis that's similar to kind of what Elon Musk wants to do, is a modified version of Zubrin's Mars Direct plan. Do you think, when he put that together in the 90s, it was with technology that we had then. He thought we were capable of doing it in the 1990s. It was more like the problem was the will and the funding. Do you think that would that something like that be the route that we would go? Send habitat pods, vehicles, equipment to make fuel for the return trip ahead of time, and then send the first humans to land on Mars, or is there a different plan that you think would be more feasible for a first mission there?
Right, and then this moment, in order to have a human send to Mars, have to coming back.
Yes,
that's like going to require 2.5 years.
Yes.
So how do you maintain? You have enough water, food. On the small capsule, we do not have a bigger support, something to maintain human live that long. So unless you want to send some kind of death penalty prisoners over there, right?
How about why don't we send Joe Biden?
We don't have a banner talking about it. So if you don't want somebody coming back, you can reach there in 6 months. Yeah. So the problem is, the Earth and Mars, we both revolve around the sun, right?
Yeah.
So we try to send a human to Mars. We try to target, when you leave the Earth, you are using the closest distance, the shortest time to reach to Mars.
8 months.
Yeah, that's right. However, when you reach to Mars, 8 months, you know what happens? Earth is on the other side of the Mars now.
Yes.
You cannot come back. You have to wait another. That's 2 years difference. Okay, you have to wait another one to coming back.
Yeah.
So we do have logistical problems.
Yes. Yeah, that would be the big impediment is the travel. How do we protect the astronauts on the return trip and the journey out from solar radiation? Some people have suggested using basically a water jacket around the capsule that they'd be in. But when you're also talking confining 4 or more people to a tiny little area for 8 months, just the psychological effects on them, they may not be able to function once they get to Mars. We don't know how they're going to respond long-term, 2 years in lower gravity, if that would cause problems with bone density or other health issues. And then, as you said, also then at the end of all that, then you still have the return journey. And I'm sorry, is the return trip also 8 months, or is that extended longer because of the differences in orbit?
If you target it right, it could be amount of similar time.
Okay.
You know, right? Yeah, if you live, and which comes exactly now, Mars and the Earth reach to the close to the point, right? You target that one. However, we may not have enough power to fuel. Yeah, that's good questions. I never thought about it. Because when we launch them, we all use the brand new, the most powerful fuel or something, right? You're coming back. We may not have this many power to push them to travel that fast. Oh my goodness! So that could be twice longer.
Yeah,
you know, that will be longer for sure. Yeah.
So I know they've talked about possibly using these, ion engines that are currently being developed, but even then, they create such little thrust that even though it would be utilized over a very long time period, that I don't think we'd get the same. What do they call it? The same delta V out of it. That you wouldn't be able to get.
So explain what an ion engine is for me.
Well,
dummy. Unless you need a doctor to do it for you. What is an ion engine for dummies?
So the so-called ion engine is, because when we get to space, the only thing you can fly, you cannot use propellers.
Yeah.
Right? Because there's no air to push against.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay. It's interesting.
So then the ion engine is actually we use chemical things and create what's called, instead of original neutral particles, right? We split them and eject them. So basically, eject the charged particle. Ion means it's a charged particle.
Yes.
Oh.
Normally, atom is neutral, but even you strip the atom off the electron, so now they become charged particle, right? You through charged particle. You know why we have to through charged particle? Because it is all react to electromagnetic force. If you are not charged, you are not being called repulsion, push away, right? So it has to be. So basically, ion engine still require chemical propellant.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess the idea with it is you can carry a much smaller amount of propellant overall. You can increase your speed over time if you have a long time on a journey. But then there's also the other end of that problem is you would need to slow down once you arrive closer to your target, either by slingshotting or, worst case scenario, if it really went too bad, you would instead vector off the planet into a different direction you don't want to intend to, and we would just lose them forever because they wouldn't have a solid fuel or anything else to course correct and get back on track.
That's the problem with if we accelerate too fast, right? We do not have enough fuel to slow them down, then we miss it. Then you will never return back.
Oh, Mike knows a little homework.
Mike sounds like more experienced than me than I do. Explaining the rocket science.
I don't know about all that, but thank you. I appreciate it.
Mike, what the heck is a slingshot? I shot my neighbor with one. What do they do with rockets and slingshots?
Yes.
Yeah, actually, Dr. You'd probably be better explaining that than I would.
It's around the gravity. You take advantage of the gravity to slingshot it, right? When you go around.
Right.
Yes.
The way, in order to get a slingshot, you still have to be catched by the gravity. So now we are talking about the Mars, right? You have to if you're too fast, gravity not enough to make you swing back, you know. Oh, yeah, they may swing forward, so now you go to Jupiter's, right? So, okay. But if you want to exactly orbiting the Mars, if too fast, that could be disaster.
Yeah. So a question for you. Have you ever met Elon Musk?
Oh, I do, but he was in on the stage. I was in the audience.
Oh, okay. So you never talked to him.
Yes,
he seems like a very interesting guy. Obviously, he's very interesting.
He has changed the rocket science, changed the space industry single-handedly.
Isn't that crazy? I mean, it's great. It's awesome. It's like crazy, isn't it? Like a guy like
yes. We do need this kind of people. Let me tell you.
Yeah,
that's what I feel like. You know?
Yeah, it's like we have so many scientists, and this guy comes out, and it's just we're lucky to have him here in the United States.
Yes, I think this kind of talent you cannot find anywhere. you can just happen to you. You cannot seek this kind of people by yourself. No way to get it. Yeah.
Now, the world always needs visionaries. They need, whether you're talking Elon Musk or Nikola Tesla or a number of others over the years, you need people to lead the way going forward. Even if they're not always the ones developing all the technology that makes what they're doing possible, you need somebody with that vision that can see the problems and then point the right people to get us to the solutions that we need to succeed. And that's sort of what Elon's gift really seems to be, is having that vision and then being able to find the right people to put each little piece of it together to then be successful.
Yep. So I got another question for you, Doc. Space Force. Is NASA collaborating with Space Force? How, are they separate entities?
Right. Yeah. Actually, we do have a Space Force across, the Kennedy Space Center is on Mary Island, connected. We have a narrow road connected with, Patrick Air Force, so station. So they do have a Space Force over there. We never have, at least my personal, I'm on called the NASA's Commercial Crew Program. So we never worked directly with DoD or not with the Space Force, not directly.
Why don't you tell people exactly what that means, that what you do for NASA in that program, the stuff that you're responsible for in your...
Oh, okay. Yeah. NASA used to use a space shuttle, transport astronaut from the Earth to and from the International Space Station, right? But after 2011, so apparently NASA tried to use a commercial company, to contract a commercial company to send astronaut to back and from the International Space Station. So at that time, probably a few years, 2007, I started involved called NASA's called the Commercial Crew Program. So I'm a NASA employee, oversee Boeing and SpaceX, oversee their commercial
relationship
company. Yeah.
My daughter's working on a Boeing project right now. My oldest daughter, from my marriage number one. We're in America. We got to have at least two.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I hope she's okay. Boeing program mentioned about a few months ago, they will have like a 400 people lay off or something.
Yeah, they did. They slowed down. The company I worked for was Camp Gemini, and they had these contracts. And then with the CEO and the strikes and all those crazy things, as you know, there's probably a big slowdown because of the strikes, and the CEO had some challenges.
Yes. Nowadays, it's a little bit of challenge. Since the Doge, I believe Elon Musk made a great strike, a great advance, try to save government money, right? Reduce force. So we have, at least in our group, I believe have 4 or 5 people still under probation. That means work less than 2 years.
Wow.
They were no worry about it if they can keep a NASA job or something.
So I would like to understand the collaborative relationship that we as Americans have, and I know it's supposed to be fair and neutral with the International Space Center and stuff. But how do the scientists get along with China, for example, or I guess India, which is more friendly? But I mean, do you guys, do you get along well? Do you have some reservations? How does that relationship work?
Oh, not at this my level. My level is technical. We support International Space Station, construction and the scientific research. So we do not. Oh, I believe we have not have any visitors since what, 1,000 years? Yeah.
Wow.
So I believe there's some law, they're talking about, prohibited from the directly exchange of the technology or something. So we do not have any connection with that.
Yeah, how's India's space program evolving? I'm starting to hear a little noise about them.
Oh yes, actually, it's a very surprisingly. I think it's a surprisingly advantage. They spend. Usually, I believe Chinese programs spend like a fraction of United States program, but Indians spending a fraction of Chinese program. Yeah. And they can send what is this? Send a satellite, maybe
lander
to Mars. Oh yes, to Mars, not just to moons, right? Of course, they may have a failed landing on the moon, but they do have India. They do have orbiting robots orbiting around Mars. So that's tremendous advantage. I could not believe it. With a string shoes budget, they can make that with success.
The satellite's probably full of mules and donkeys just running in a circle.
Well, I mean, that's part of the thing too, though, is they're able to stand on the shoulders of giants. They've learned a lot from our program, from the European program, from the Chinese programs, and from the Russians over the years. So, a lot of the time, effort, and capital that we put into researching, making new materials like Mylar, Kevlar, and other things that are essential for space travel, for protecting both humans and the equipment, they didn't have those barriers. So I think that's a way to save a huge amount of resources, and then you can go with what you already know works. The math, the science, the formulas are already out there to calculate their trajectory, fuel usage, and everything else that's essential. We already know how to send radio signals back. The technology's gotten so much better. What does NASA really need right now to move? What would NASA's mission be in your eyes right now, and what resources do they really need to be successful?
Let me make a disclaimer. Okay, my opinion, my views and opinion does not represent NASA. Okay, it's only represent my own. Okay, so in any way form, I just make my own comment.
Yes, sir.
Right now, of course, we need basically NASA employee itself. We are is already streamed down less than what is it? Like 15,000 people now. The entire NASA. Okay, at Kennedy we are just 1,900 people.
Oh, wow.
So we are very, very skinny. So basically, all the money we contract to private company.
Yeah.
So I believe private company is more efficient. I do believe that one. So if you say what need for NASA success, basically need for American space industry. Most of them are contractors, Boeing and SpaceX, for them to be successful. We do need to have a contract. We do need to have money, right? But with this time is what is that? 25% budget cut. Probably just barely maintain whatever program we have at this moment. I do not expect that we're going to have any accelerated goal to reach the moons, not even mention the Mars.
Yeah, well,
it would be. Oh, sorry.
What is the annual budget for? Oh, sorry.
Oh, annual budget. The last year I believe 24 point some $billion.
Sounds about right.
24.6 billion. This year's $18.6 billion.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, it would be nice though. I think the U.S. space program, like what I always think about, and a lot of this was really like before my time. I grew up in the late '80s and early '90s. But it used to be like a unifying force for America. Now you saw kids with their NASA T-shirts on, getting to the moon was something the whole country was behind. People, I really think that's something that we need right now. Is again this unifying, broader scientific mission. Whether it's landing a person on Mars, establishing a colony on Mars, or an orbital base, or something like that. Something to help drive kids towards science, towards the future, and towards things that would encourage greater growth for mankind. Get us, because really, like, ultimately we need to be a 2-planet species in case something happens here. We in the long run does need to be to get a colony on Mars, maybe terraform it if possible, but ultimately our goal should be to reach beyond the stars as a species. But we need that inspiration again, something that the whole world can get behind. I don't know if that's another space race or what it is, but I think that is something that our country desperately needs for unification, if for no other reason.
Landing human on Mars, I believe this should be the biggest goal right now, yes. Because beyond the Mars, so even for me to have a human being traveling back and from take 2.5 years, right? So but it's a distance from Mars to Earth. It's just 1/10 of the distance from Earth to Jupiter. Jupiter is the next one, closer one, okay? Yeah. Because right now Venus is closer, but Venus does not support any landing for human life, right?
No.
So that means Mars could be the first planet ever being touched by human being, and could be the last one. So I believe this should be give our enough motivation to get ahead.
Like colonize it, like Elon Musk.
Oh, like Elon Musk colonize with his starship. What 100 people? One trip. Oh my goodness! I hope he's success, but I do not expect in my career in NASA I can see that one.
Well, it'd be nice if we did. Even if it was like you said. 2040, because it's gonna take a long time, because we still don't have a real plan to do it, whether we're talking Musk, NASA, Robert Zubrin, or anybody else. But having that mission, I think, would be a real unifying force. It would be great to get people back on that track again, where instead of aspiring to be podcast hosts and TikTok influencers, or play in the NBA or be an actor, that having people aspire to be scientists, astronauts, people that are explorers, getting out beyond just our planet and into the galaxy, because there is a lot here. Even just within our own solar system, there's a lot of goals that we could get to. I'd love to see what's on Io, see what's under the ice there. Maybe there's life. Getting to Mars and establishing a colony. Even if this just takes us to the end of this century, I think these are goals worth having as not just a country, but as a civilization.
Yet it is. It is.
So, Mike, how much time do we have left? I got to
probably 3 to 5 minutes.
Oh man, I wanted to ask about black holes and stuff. I guess we don't have enough time.
Maybe I give you a short answer. And I do not believe a black hole exists at all.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yes. The reason we said a black hole exists is based on observation. Black hole means you cannot, not even light can escape, right? Yes. So that means we cannot see. But it's all the photos we said, when you have a real images of black hole, I believe that, it's mistaken for something like a hurricane eye. So I think, Mike, you in Florida, you probably lived through hurricane before.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not sure, Terry, have you ever lived through hurricane and go through hurricane eyes?
Yeah.
If you do, that was an enlightening moment for me. When the hurricane before and after is a huge damage, right? But once the eye right on top of my house, what happens?
Nothing.
There's no wind. Of course, no wind, right? Not even wind. So calm, not even have a noise. Basically, it's so calm because all the medium transmit the sound. It's almost gone. So quiet, peaceful. When you look through the eyes, it's completely clear. There's no clouds on top of the eye, between eyes and the upper space.
Yeah.
So what that means, the same thing happens to black hole. Everything, when you have something rotating fast, just like spin,
like a hurricane.
Yeah. So everything will be centrifugal force will fly out. Everything. So in the middle, the reason it's black is because without any objects in it. Yeah. But people will say, hey, if without objects, what keep them spinning so fast? Magnetic force, electromagnetic force.
Man, I grew up thinking that Uranus was a black hole.
Okay. Yeah, scared lots of people out, in the old days.
yeah, I'm sure. But yeah, that's an interesting point, and I'd never thought about that before. That could just be an illusion, because, like you said, like a hurricane. And I lived in Florida for 5 years, but I did have the eye of one hurricane pass right over where I lived when I was in Kissimmee. I think it was Wilma, and it was the weirdest thing to have these 100+ mile an hour winds just over a period of maybe 45 seconds slow to zero, and then all of a sudden have the sun come back out, and a few minutes later birds are flying around again. But about another 15 minutes, when the back of that eye wall passed over, all hell broke loose.
If you live through that one, I do feel like in the heavens type of feeling.
Yeah.
No noise, no winds, no wind. All the air molecules is out.
Yes. Yeah, it's definitely a scary experience, but and again, you make a very good point. We don't really know everything. A lot of our observations are basically they're our best guess of what we're seeing out there, but we don't really know. We can't really understand until we have the ability to actually go and explore.
Mm-hmm. Black hole concept is because we do not understand what is gravity. Once you know what gravity is, you can explain black hole. The same thing, dark matter and dark energy is all related to the concept about understanding what is gravity. Too bad we do not have time to talk about gravity.
Well, maybe next time we'll have to get you back on again.
Yeah,
your audience, I would love to come back.
My son was, I think he was too nervous to come ask you. He's watching, he's texting me here, but I think he was too nervous. I told him to come up here and ask you a question. I think I am going to take him down to NASA to visit you sometime. So I'm going to.
Okay, if you can, so we can have dinner together. Or we can go someplace you can enjoy half a day. Yeah. I just let him ask. I believe, especially if he wanted to study physics, be better to talk to me. Make sure what I'm expecting from the physicist major.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you for your time. It's an honor to have you on the show.
Yeah,
it's my honor to thank you for having me on. It's my honor to meet you guys, and I hope you have a great career. Go viral with your work.
Thanks, Doc.
Yeah, and what's the best place for our audience to find you and to find your work?
So I have a partner called neighborschoice.com. So we do interview and we do, share some kind of my work and the videos, post lots of videos. That's neighborschoice.com. So if you look at my name, probably you will see some videos or from that website.
Great. Well, thank you, sir.
Well, and to the audience, thank you for joining us tonight. Please like, share, and subscribe. Help us to grow so we can bring more people the news the mainstream media doesn't want you.